is it goes right through those doors, and that is the trust building, that last building. The trust axis, as it turns out, is exactly parallel to the Sepulveda Pass. That's the pass you drove through on the 405 to come here. That is a connection between the center and the natural surroundings. Now the other axis that we'll be stepping onto in a little while, which intersects it at 22.5 degrees, is a true mountain ridge that he found and chose. But it turns out that it is exactly parallel to the Los Angeles street grid, and parallel to the we can't see it, we'll see it shortly, the 405 where it turns and begins to go parallel to Sepulveda and to the Los Angeles street grid. So we call that the museum axis, or the public axis. All the public buildings are laid on that axis. That is another connection between the Getty and the streets of Los Angeles. Okay, so we're going to walk down the trust axis for a minute. We're going to talk in more detail about the materials, the building materials. Notice how Richard Meyer uses this frame. I mean, that's all it is. He doesn't use the frame, he built the frame. It's just a frame. It isn't holding anything up. It's there to really frame the stone pines in the tram arrival plaza and to create a contained view. But the reason I have you here primarily is to look at this. This is travertine. So this is one of the three main building materials here. We've got travertine, we have those tiles, and we have, as a couple people have mentioned, glass. And I want to know what your thoughts are about this travertine. If you like it, how you think it, what it contributes. Texture, right. Excuse me, I didn't mean to scare you. Texture! lots of texture. Very much a needed contrast to the slickness of glass and the slickness of that building material. So, kind of an interesting story. When Richard Meyer was designing the Getty Center, word went out to the stone quarries of the world that the Getty was going to be buying about 27 shiploads of stone. And every major quarry came and bid, including one from Canada, which bid, it was a quarry of black marble. So if you could imagine what the Getty would look like had that gotten it, and the word is that Richard Meyer was considering it, but it was just too expensive. Now this travertine is from the Bagni di Tivoli outside of Rome, a quarry, a travertine quarry continuously active for 2,000 years. It's the same quarry where they got the travertine to build the Colosseum and St. Peter's Colonnade. And in fact, Caesar Augustus is famous for having said, "I found Rome clay and left her marble," but in fact he left her mostly travertine. This is the stuff. And it's as you can see, much more porous than marble. It's younger. It's young. It's 8 to 80,000 years old. Okay, but we came very close to not getting this travertine. And the reason is when Mr. Carlos Mariotti from the Bagni di Tivoli, the Mariotti family owns it, came and tried to sell his stone, Richard Meyer said, "No way. Most of us have seen plenty of travertine in foyers and countertops, and it is slick, shiny stuff, right? You would never think of it as having all this texture." Neither did Richard Meyer. But Mariotti said, "You know, that's just the way people cut it. I can do something different. Let me give it a try." And here's what Mariotti did. Travertine is a not sedentary. Thank you. All rock is sedentary. It's a sedimentary rock, and it grows up from dissolved calcium critters and things in freshwater streams in layers. And that's how you usually see it. It's cut through the layers like a layer cake. So, you know, you cut through a layer cake, and here you have a strawberry, white cake, strawberry, frosting, whatever. And then you polish that, and it's a nice, shiny, beautiful stone with lines in it. So Mariotti took these big blocks out of the wall of the quarry and turned them on their side. And he ran them through this special guillotine, which does not cut the rock, but has a block that comes crashing down on it and shatters it open on the sedimentary layer. So like with your cake, if you took the cake off the counter and opened it up, and just like this, all frosting, all cake, that's what you're looking at. Each one of these blocks has a matching block somewhere at the Getty. So if you've seen all the art and you have nothing else left to do. So this is when Richard Meyer saw this, he said, yes, I love it. And not only that, what a wonderful, again, dialogue between natural and man-made. This incredibly natural sedimentary layers, seeing exactly how it's laid down, cut into these exquisitely, anally perfect 30 by 30 blocks everywhere over the Getty. It's a real kind of contradiction in itself, or maybe dialogue is a better word. Okay, so this is the travertine. I love it, and it's so bright for a museum. It's so ancient, you know, and museums like to think they're going to be around a long time. But over here, let's take a minute to look at this material. Before I tell you what this material is, let me do an experiment with a volunteer. Would somebody like to volunteer a loved one? Oh, great, wonderful. Okay, so what is your name?
Daniela.
Daniela? Mm-hmm. Okay, so Daniela, you and I are going to just take a moment away from this room and have a personal conversation, okay? So, Daniela, where are you from?
I'm from Michigan.
Yeah, and you live in Michigan? Or?
I live in Michigan.
So you're vacationing here. So that's why you are willing to come out in the cold. It doesn't seem so terrible.
No, it's wonderful. Right temperature.
Now, is this a good distance for our conversation?
No, it's really.
It's too far away. Yeah, let me come closer. So, are you visiting family here, or is it just vacation?
Just vacation.
And are you is this a good distance?
Well, maybe.
Okay, so Daniela, would you please pick one of these 30 by 30 stones and stand right in the middle of it? And I'm going to stand in the middle of it. How's this for our conversation?
I think it's just perfect.
She thinks it's perfect. Me too, because in our general culture, 30 inches is a very nice personal space. And by covering his structure with 30 by 30 tiles, Richard Meyer has brought this mammoth building to human scale. And remember, we talked about that as something modern architecture seeks to do, show human beings where they fit. Then, would you stand in this? How tall is she? About 62 inches? Oh, giving hints. About 62 inches with shoes on? Now, can you imagine, we have a very good sense of her size. Can you think about how it would be if she were standing against a perfectly blank wall without any lines on it? We would not have that sense of her. So that's what those 30 by 30 tiles do for us. They give us a real fitting in place. So, Daniela, thank you very much. Okay, so now, time to guess. What is this material? You're right. People guess plastic. I guessed fiberglass, but it is actually aluminum with a ceramic coating baked on. It's a very space-age material. Oh, come a little bit so we can turn it on. It's a very space-age material, and very malleable and very durable. And also very much a favorite of Richard Meyer's. In fact, while you're standing here, you can see Meyer White. Richard Meyer's original plan was to build the entire museum with this color. This color tile is the color of the entire High Museum in Atlanta, Georgia. Anybody ever been there? If you ever go there, this is what you'll see. Notice our Getty Center that we were thinking of as white when we were looking at it before is not white compared to this. Because when the Getty was being built, many meetings were held with the residents of the surrounding neighborhoods, and they were not interested in having 7.5 acres of white aluminum shining in their windows in the late afternoon. And they forced a concession from Mr. Meyer to use that color. He was not happy, and he, for a long time, just called the Getty his brown building. But I think it's nice. It's plenty bright up here on a sunny day, believe me, with that color. And it goes very beautifully, I think, with the fabric. Okay, so let's walk this. Oh, we're going to stop right here. We're going to only walk about 4 steps. Because I want to show you, I always say, when we cracked open the travertine, and then I remember, oh, that's right, I wasn't there. But when we cracked open the travertine along the sedimentary lines, we found fossils of leaves from poplar trees that had been growing along the river. And they're here.